Hello to all the wonderful women around the world. My name is Dr. Hannah Katan. I'm an OBGYN, fertility specialist, specialized also in sexology and in the adolescent gynecology. I am a mother of 13 children and a grandmother, and I'm a Rabbanit. My husband is a Rav. And I was once an Ola Chadasha. I was born in America years ago, made Aliyah in Erev Yom Kippur War. And I want to try to make a few sessions with all of you to feel that we can be just one community, even if we're over the seas, and to try to make connections. And with a very big craving for some kind of kesher with you. I want to tell you a little bit about a big family in Eretz Yisrael. I, as a gynecologist, treat a lot of patients who will come and dafka they want to have a big family. And in the Israeli literature, and in the worldwide literature, actually, being a grand multi-power, meaning being a woman who's given birth to more than 5 children, is something which is definitely linked to danger for the woman, danger for the pregnancy, danger for the child, danger during the birth. And I must say this is very biased because all the populations that deal with grand multiparity are populations in Biafra, in Kenya, and places like that, where big families come not from a desire, but they come because they just come, because they don't know how to use contraception. But we have special populations, of course, you have also in your countries and Israel, where we have a religious population that chooses to have a big family, to have a big family when we're talking about a population with a high socioeconomic status, with a lot of education, who has very good prenatal care, and a lot of knowledge in terms of what kind of medical conditions need more attention. And the literature says that in these populations, grand multiparity is not more dangerous. There's not more danger in the pregnancy. There's not more danger during birth. There's even less cesarean sections than in pregnancies which come first. But what we do have to know is that a woman who's a grand multiparity is usually a woman who's more older. In other words, we can't find a woman 20 years old who has 10 children. And that's why if there are dangers involved, they're involved because they're related to the woman's age. In other words, age is something which definitely has consequences on the pregnancy, but not the grand multiparity. Now, many women would like to have more and more and more, and sometimes we just have to try to understand why. Does it mean that if you don't have another child, that you've stopped being a mother? Does it mean a motherhood is just having babies? I think motherhood just starts when you stop having babies, because that's the more romantic part. It's like a little doll, which you just dress her. She dresses whatever you want, and she'll eat everything you want. She's always next to you. She's never gonna go away. She'll never think something you don't want her to think. She's like, it's something which is very, very, very one-sided, and it's actually only a promo to what motherhood really means. Because motherhood means letting go at the umbilical cord and let the child go farther and farther and have his own personality and his own identity, build his identity. And he might not want to wear what you want him to wear, or eat what you want him to eat, or say what you want him to say, or think what you want him to think. But you're there to be his mother, to listen to him, and to believe in him, and to confide in him. And that's really what motherhood means. And it doesn't finish when the child gets married. It just continues and continues, and and that means that when we just start with giving birth, it's just the beginning of a very big, of a very, very big foundation of motherhood. In terms of the dangers involved in having more and more children, as I said, they're age-related if there are. There are some things that you have to know about age-related childbirth. The most important thing is, of course, is the child's health. And we know that as the age goes up, definitely there's more dangers of malformations, of chromosomal malformations, genetic malformations, a little bit more autism, a little bit kinds of metabolic disease, which are more have to do with the mitochondria. And these things can happen, and we have to be aware of that. We have to know that over the age of 40, it really goes up like very, very much. From the age of 35, it starts going up. We also know that as a woman gets older, she has more of a tendency to have miscarriages. If at the age of 20, it will be 50%, at the age of 30, it will be 30%, at the age of 40, it will be 40%. So if she starts out with a pregnancy, she might not finish with a live birth. And also, we should know that the infertility, many women at this age want to get pregnant, and they come and they beg and they want treatment and hormonal treatment and whatever, and even IVF. And sometimes we just have to tell them that there's no way of doing it, that it's already too late, that the ovaries are a little bit insufficient in their function, and that's what happens at this age. There is some kind of disinformation around, because people think that doctors are omnipotent and that things have changed and technology can do everything, and that's why we could just put off our building a family. And if it's going to happen at the age of 40 or 50, okay, definitely there'll be a solution. And that's also because of the media, which always talks about women having babies at the age of 50 and 60, and nobody asks them, how did they get pregnant? They talk about the pregnancy, they talk about the beautiful birth and the epidural that they had, but you should know that they'll never tell you that she got pregnant with an ovum donation. By the way, women can talk about birth as if it happened yesterday. A woman can be 80 years old, and she'll talk about, it was in room 230, and the baby weighed 3 kilos and 225 grams. And the name of the midwife was Shoshana. And I remember that I gave birth at 10 o'clock, and it was just a Wednesday, and whatever. All the whole birth, is something which it fills women so much that they just keep it with them as alive for years and years and years. Having a big family in Israel is economically a little bit difficult, but I don't think more difficult than in other places, because the government tries very much to help people who have more children. There are all kinds of benefits that children, families with more children can have. Also, it's what's called kitzvaot yeladim. Every child that's born, you get a certain amount, which is kept the child's credit in the bank. And there's all kinds of discounts you can get in education and in other places. And in general, I must say that bringing up a big family is worth our while. There are a few years when it's more difficult. I tell all of my patients, sometimes I have a patient who says she doesn't want to get pregnant for years because she can't get around with what's happening afternoon. She comes back from work and then she has so much work around from the hours of 4 to 7. So you know what? Technical problems have technical answers. In other words, you can find a good babysitter who will take care of all that physical stuff and let you just be a happy mom. And then it won't be so difficult. It won't feel like a burden on your shoulders. And then you know what? Maybe I do want another pregnancy because I did want to have a bigger family. And these years are just going to go by. And then afterwards, you're going to be so happy with what you've built and with what keeps going on and on and on. And I think it's very much amount of emunah, of belief that everything's bidei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Parnasato shel Adam bidei Shamayim, we know that our Parnasa is from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. We daven for it, and we know it's in God's hands. And having a big family means giving a lot of security to the children, making them have a lot of friends. We just saw in our parasha how Aaron and Miriam are so dedicated to Moshe, and how Moshe prays for his sister Miriam. And to being a brother and sister is a special kind of relationship. I mean, parents is something which you're born with, but you don't always, usually don't die with. And your spouses, you don't know until in the age of 20 plus. And but your sisters, brothers are there for you to stay from the minute you're born till the minute you go. And that's something very special. And the more sisters and brothers they have, the more the more security they have, the more happiness they have. And what seems difficult at a young age is we find afterwards is actually worth its while. It is actually nothing that you can really try to care for and to want more than having a big family. It's a very good investment, very, very good investment. I tell that to women who are unmarried, unfortunately. We have a lot of women like that. They can reach the age of 30 and we try to talk to them about freezing eggs. And it sounds very difficult and they get very, very, very surprised by the whole idea. But what we do say is, look, it's investing in something which is the biggest investment you can do in your life, to have children. And for your parents, let them help you out, because it's going to be having grandchildren. And we know how much they want grandchildren. And just put it away, put in your egg box a few eggs, have it stay and wait for you until you find you find the prince on the horse. And then you'll know that you've cared for your fertility, and that you've not just let your ovaries just go and become insufficient. I think that what's most important to know is that when we make Aliyah, there are different steps which we have to be prepared for. If it's a social part, if it's the family, if it's the economic part. But I think if you get a very, very good, we try to prepare ourselves well. And if you have a good social network, which will be there for you, for everything you need, and to support you for the first year or two, I don't think there'll be anyone happier than you to be here. I have a lot of patients who live in Har Nof, and the husbands usually commit back and forth because they didn't find didn't find employment in Israel. And I look up to them and I say, wow, these are real tzedekistas. Like, they're willing to live like this, seeing their husband once, maybe a weekend in a month. And that's why they come to me to engineer the menstrual period, so they'll be able to be in Tahara when the husband comes. It's a very little romantic, but it's not easy. They're really raising the children alone, but they're so Zionistic and so happy, and the children are so happy to be here. I must say that I forced my parents to make Aliyah. It was very difficult for them. They were already in the fourth and fifth decades of their lives, with 8 little children and with no employment, and it was really very difficult. Very little family, no friends, but as being all of us, all of our sisters and brothers are so really happy to be here, and feel so blessed to be in Eretz HaKodesh. And I'm sure that in this summer we're going to have a real big amount of Aliyah, and we're just here to wait for you and to support you and to enjoy all of the gifts that you can bring here to Eretz HaKodesh. And I hope we'll continue with our weekly sessions in things that deal with womanhood. Nice speaking to you. I hope my English was okay. It needs a little bit shuf.